I cheated after 17 years of marriage. Now he won't talk to me unless the kids are in the room. I'm Courtney, 42, and I totally didn't see my life turning into this soap opera. Everyone always said Brandon and I were the perfect couple. 17 years of marriage, 2 beautiful daughters, and a house in a neighborhood where people actually want to live. We were that couple. The one everyone looked at and thought, relationship goals. Brandon was always the guy who remembered anniversaries without phone reminders. He'd bring home my favorite takeout when I had a rough day at work. When Haley and Julia were little, he'd take them for daddy days. So I could have time to myself. He was the husband who actually listened when I complained about drama at work, who rubbed my feet after I wore those killer heels I loved even though they murdered my arches. For our 15th anniversary, he planned this whole weekend getaway with all my favorite things. Between us, my friends were so jealous they could barely hide it. We had the matching views in the driveway, the family photos on the walls, the inside jokes no one else understood. From the outside, we were perfect. The other couples would ask for advice. How do you two still look at each other like that after all these years? They'd ask at neighborhood cookouts, and I'd smile that knowing smile while Brandon's arms slipped around my waist. When other wives complained about their husbands leaving dirty socks on the floor or forgetting important dates, I'd nod sympathetically while secretly feeling superior. Brandon wasn't like other husbands. He was attentive, thoughtful, exactly what I'd always wanted. At least, that's what I thought I wanted. But somewhere around year 15, I started feeling restless. The predictability that once felt secure started feeling stifling. I knew exactly what Brandon would say before he said it. I could anticipate his every move, his every thought. Date nights became just another routine, different restaurant, same conversation. The sex was like a choreographed dance we'd performed 1,000 times. It wasn't bad, just known, too known. I started noticing things that annoyed me, the way he cleared his throat before speaking. How he always checked the doors were locked 3 times before bed, his predictable reactions to everything. God, the predictability was suffocating me. I'd look at him across the dinner table, talking about his day at work, and think, is this really it? Is this all there is for the next 30 years? I never said anything though. What kind of ungrateful witch complains about a husband who's actually nice? Instead, I smiled and nodded and played my part as the happily married wife, while feeling like I was slowly disappearing. I started spending more time at work, volunteering for projects that kept me and away from home. I told myself I was advancing my career, but really, I was just avoiding the crushing sameness of my perfect life. The girls were teenagers by then. Haley was 16 and Julia 14, both lost in their own worlds of friends and activities and social media drama. They needed me less, and that left more time for me to dwell on my dissatisfaction. I look at younger women at work, single and carefree, and feel a twinge of something like envy. I started paying more attention to my appearance, updating my wardrobe, getting a new haircut that made me look younger. Brandon noticed, of course. He complimented me, seemed pleased. "You look amazing, babe," he'd say, and I'd feel a moment of warmth before the restlessness crept back in. I wanted more reaction, more passion, more something. I started wondering if anyone else would look at me and feel that spark I was missing. And then Eric started at the office. Eric wasn't particularly handsome or charming at first glance. He wasn't even my type, really, but he looked at me like he actually saw me. Not just Courtney the wife, Courtney the mom, but Courtney the woman. When we were assigned to the same project, I found myself lingering after meetings, making excuses to collaborate. We started getting coffee together, then lunch. Just colleagues, I told myself. Just friends, until we weren't just friends anymore. The first time was after a late night at the office. Everyone else had gone home. We were reviewing some numbers that absolutely had to be perfect for the next day's presentation. He reached for the same file I did, our hands touched, and suddenly, 17 years of marriage vaporized in the heat of something new, something forbidden. I told myself it was just a mistake, a moment of weakness. But then it happened again. And again. I became someone I didn't recognize, sneaking around, making up excuses to work late, deleting texts, creating elaborate lies. The affair with Eric lasted 6 months before Brandon found out. 6 months of living a double life, feeling more alive than I had in years while simultaneously carrying the weight of betrayal. I justified it in 1,000 ways. Brandon had grown complacent, we'd lost our spark, I deserved to feel desired. Eric understood me in ways Brandon never had. The mental gymnastics I performed to make myself the victim, instead of the villain, were truly Olympic level. Looking back, I see the signs. Eric wasn't actually interested in me as a person. He was younger, ambitious, probably saw sleeping with me as a way to advance. But in the moment, the attention was intoxicating. Every compliment, every stolen kiss in the supply closet, every secret hotel meeting felt like oxygen after years of slowly suffocating. I convinced myself I was falling in love with him. Maybe I even believed it. I got sloppy though, started taking risks. One night I left my phone unlocked while showering, and Brandon saw a text from Eric that couldn't be misinterpreted. "Still thinking about last night. Can't wait to see you tomorrow."